Okay, so today we're going to check out these tire pressure monitoring system, TPMS. I got this set to use in my Aventon Aventure 2 e-bike, and we're going to open this up and we're going to check it out, see what all's inside, how it works, and then we'll put it on the bike and take it from there, see what's up. Be kind of neat. Do I need it? No. Is it cool? Yeah. Fat Tire e-bike, nice to know what your tire pressure is. Yeah, that'll be good. All right, let's do it. Okay, so let's open this thing up. See what we got here. I haven't opened it yet. Cut the seal. All right. Inside we got, looks like a little direction card, and of course, pretty much not legible. So yeah, we'll just figure this out. But it does have QR codes on the back we can scan, and but let's face it, it's a TPI unit. How hard could it be? Inside, you got the dogs barking. You got a little wrench and some lockdowns to lock the sensors onto the stems. Looks like you got a mount that goes on top of the bike with the little adapter right here to be able to mount it, mount the reader on here. And yeah, okay. Oh, that's pretty neat. Now this here is, I have not seen this in any of my other mounts. So you basically get this clamped down to the size you need, but you can turn this dial here instead of putting more shims in here, like everything else I've ever seen. This has got a dial that allows you to fine tune and adjust for your size bar. That's, you know, that's kind of cool. All right, and then we have a USB and magnetic hookup. So there's no Type C charge on the base unit. It's magnetic charge, which I thought was kind of cool. Kind of reminds me of my smartwatch, that kind of stuff. And then we have the main head unit right here. And a little filmy stuff on the front here. Let's get that off there. Don't need that. All right. And there's the mount right here on the back that this will screw into like this. And your charge part that this will go into like that. Magnetic. Click. Good to go. And let's see here. Assuming these are the on and off buttons. I don't know if it has a charge in it. So oh, it appears it does. And what do we got here? Okay. You'll notice it has a clock on it and your front and rear TPI, so we'll get that all hooked up. And then in the box you'll have two TPI tire pressure indicator units in the box, and you'll notice that A says FW and FW front wheel, and B is RW for rear wheel. Pretty self-explanatory. I mean, really, in a nutshell, here's what they are. You screw in these lock nuts onto your valve stem. You screw these things on. You cinch that. Use that wrench to cinch these on, and that's it. It's basically a valve cap, okay, but it's got a sensor in it that monitors tire pressure. Nothing real complicated here. Pretty simple. All right. So I think we'll get these things put on there and see what we get. Cool. That'll be fun. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the valve stem that's on the bike. Set that aside. And then in the kit right here that has the wrench and the two little lock nuts, you're going to remove one of the lock nuts and the little wrench. Okay. And you take one of the lock nuts like this and you screw that on the valve stem first. Screw it all the way down there. You don't need to tighten it, just get it down there all the way. And that should do it. Then you take, in this case, we're doing the front wheel first. So you'll take the one that with, it says A, front wheel, in this case. You screw that on like a plain old valve cap. Make sure that's seated. And then that little lock nut, you back that up to the valve cap, and then you give it a little bit of a snug. And the idea here is keep you from being able to grab it, but also make sure it stays on tight. That's kind of the big goal here. Okay, and then you'll do the same thing for the rear wheel, and you can see this is not very complicated. So the question is, will it work? We're going to find out. Okay, now in my case, I'm going to take the mount unit, and I'm going to put, I mounted one of these little extra rails on here that I also have my camera mount and some other stuff. So I'm going to mount this on this end, which is where I choose to have it. And so let's see, in my case, I can actually flip this over the end if I want, but you know, there's lots of different ways to do this. Flip this out and whatnot. So I think I'm just going to slip it on there about there. Tighten this up a little bit like this. See if that's got it. If not, then I'll adjust that little knob at the bottom for the diameter of the tube. And that's feeling pretty good, really. I mean, it doesn't need to be too crazy because it doesn't weigh anything. Okay. And this little part right here locks against the unit itself to keep it from falling off. This knob under here, you loosen this one, and it allows you, like a ball socket, to adjust it however you want it. When you get it, then you tighten this bottom one here once you get it to the position you like. So let me grab the TPI reader. And this should mount right on here. Like that. And then I can loosen the ball to get it how I want it. Got to get it into the configuration that I want it. And we'll tighten that lock down to the bottom of the display. And rotate it a little bit here. Figure out how I want it. Yeah. A lot of cables and brake stuff here. I think about there would probably work. And then I'll tighten down the ball down here. Okay, like so. Make sure that's tight. All right, and then, so that mount looks pretty good from my perspective, as I should be able to see it just fine. If I need to angle a little more, I'll get it adjusted to however it is I like it, and we'll kind of figure that out as we go. So there's that. Now we'll move on to turning on and testing. Okay, so I got it mounted on there, and it definitely needed to be charged. So it's pretty low on battery right now. The battery indicator is on the far right, time in the middle, front tire pressure, rear tire pressure, and you can select in bar or PSI. It also shows front wheel temperature, rear wheel temperature. And you know, so what I did is when I hooked this up and I got my readings, and this is your set and this is your menu button. So set and menu button. And so once you go through the programming and you get it all set up and ready to go, it automatically binds, and then it shows your tire pressures. Now what I did do, you'll notice this one's at 25, that's at 26, because I took them back off and I tested them with the regular tire pressure gauge to see how accurate this is. And I was pleasantly surprised that they were dead on. So these are pretty good. So far it's working pretty good. I need to get it charged up, and I think it's going to work pretty cool. You can also change your brightness setting from dim and then to bright, whatever you choose. So dim and so on like that. The card that came with it with the QR codes, I did end up QR scanning the one on the right to be able to get the PDF file on my phone, and you can download that if you want, because it's got a bunch of other little features in it as well. All I'm really interested in this particular application is my tire pressure, because if I'm out, you know, riding on the trails or whatever, I want it to let me know. And it does have an alarm on it, so you can set high and low values. So if it's, you know, it starts dropping down low and you're not paying attention, it will sound an alarm. So you can set those values in the menu as well, which is kind of cool. And yeah, so far so good. Let's see how this goes. I'm gonna get charged up and see how this is. Here's the QR So the one over here, the M6 operating manual, is the one that I selected to download. And that actually worked pretty good. You can select English, but it came up in English right away. And let's see what we got here. So the PDF works out pretty good, and it gives you all of the information that you need. Tells you what each of these icons do on your display in your interface. Tells you how your function setting, how to program all your thresholds and units between PSI, bar, Celsius, Fahrenheit, and yeah. So anything you need to do, it actually gives a pretty good menu. It's got a lot of different options on it. Shortcut settings and stuff. I don't plan on doing a lot of that myself. So if that's something that really interests you, then you can certainly delve into this and see what all else it does. On the item itself, on the menu box, or whatever you call the little thing to display, on the top button, see if I can zoom this in a little bit here. Okay, so this is your display. The top button, also when you long press that, it powers it down, and to turn it back on, you just tap it and it turns the unit back on. So right now it is charging up and everything is working. I'm pretty impressed. The accuracy is good to go. So far so good.